The hatred for Colton continues to bubble up, and the Peacock social media posted a picture in their big hypocrisy saying, "We are committed to making our cast feel safe, respected, and supported on screen and off." First off, I call bullshit to that because casting Colton, who was a criminal stalker on another reality show, is not exactly making your cast feel safe. What is up, everybody? I'm here to talk about some Traitors drama, from Ron throwing Dorinda under the bus for her behavior on the show, apparently, to Michael having a vendetta against Ron because Michael has a low IQ, and the show still trying to protect Colton, even though they're the ones that cast them, knowing that he had problematic behavior and criminal activity from another reality show. Let's start with Ron, who posted on social media that Dorinda has conscious bias. She said some truly terrible things to me, but since they were deeply personal and outside of gameplay, they were never shown. Just me blowing up at her out of nowhere. So Ron is accusing the edit that he and Dorinda had bigger beef because Dorinda was making things personal, maybe on a racially biased level, which I believe, coming from this cast, from everything we've seen about this cast, the cast is very, very biased. Whether it is race, whether it is how they want to be looked upon on camera, how they want to be seen on camera when they're letting Colton get away with using his sexuality as a weapon. Or I feel like just in general, they are a cast that acts like high school. You know, they're very cliquey cast. I don't feel like the faithful are even trying to play the game for the most part. They're just forming cliques. And I feel like Ron was on the outside from the beginning. To go along with the evidence that Ron is presenting here, it has also came out that Darinda and Caroline actually got into a big personal fight too. So Darinda may have gotten personal with Caroline, and that didn't make the edit either. I am questioning very hard why Darinda was brought back this season. She's bringing nothing to this season. But they're also editing out all of her drama, maybe because it's problematic, perhaps. It's kind of what it is sounding like. I think bringing Dorinda back was a mistake. She did all that whining and bitching last season when she was voted out first. She acted so sad at the beginning of this season, or celebrated when she stayed in the game, but she's literally giving nothing, and they are not including her edit. I'm not someone who likes Johnny Bananas at all. In fact, I have Johnny Bananas and CT fatigue when it comes to the challenge. But the fact that Johnny, who was voted out first one season, didn't get to come back, but they bring back Dorinda, maybe it's because it's a Peacock thing, an NBC Universal thing. She comes from that family. She was a housewife. She's no longer on a housewife show. And maybe this is their way of trying to make her relevant again. I don't know. We'll see if Ron gets to confront Dorinda at the reunion, but I don't really trust them to edit that in if they took out why Ron and Dorinda were actually beefing in the first place. Ron has thanked people like Lisa for keeping it game and not getting personal on social media as well. It seems to be a thing just with Dorinda, which does explain why they got into a bit of a shouting match at one of the round tables, and why Ron clearly did not like Dorinda, but I guess that the feelings were vice versa. Michael Rapaport has been on social media for the past days trying to post the video of Ron, I guess, cussing at Darinda. I don't know if this is him trying to defend Darinda. I don't know if this is him just saying Ron's not nice. It's when Ron said he doesn't care about Dorinda's family and his family is none of Dorinda's fucking business. Michael is using that clip as like sarcasm to say, I feel bad for Ron, not the nicest, sweetest, kindest faithful of the faithfuls. I don't know what point Michael is trying to make here. I don't know if it is him defending Dorinda. I just think that Michael Rapaport has one of the lowest IQs I've ever seen from anyone on a reality show. And I watch Big Brother, and there's a lot of dumb people that go on that show. But Michael is like Neanderthal level low IQ, because just the way that he talks, poopy this, poopy that, the way that he eats like a fucking child, you can clearly tell that Michael Rapaport has a very low IQ. And that's why his career these days is nothing but trying to get negative engagement on social media. So he's at it again with that. I'm not understanding his point with the beef with Ron whatsoever, to be honest. Lisa has been talking about on social media how, basically calling out Colton for being a stalker. And Colton is getting a lot of flack, as he deserves. I've been one of the people who has tried to drum up the fact that Colton should have never been cast on this season when he was so problematic on another reality show. And I am hoping that when we get to this reunion, that gets talked about, because all Colton does is try to deflect from that situation that happened with him being an abusive stalker and this vitriol he seems to have for women in general. I don't trust Andy Cohen as a reunion host to really drudge that up. Like, he can be a good reunion host, but sometimes he will skate by certain issues that he shouldn't be skating by. Plus, Colton loves to use his sexuality as a shield to deflect from the fact that he did really bad criminal activity after the Bachelor season that he was on. Lisa bringing up the fact on social media that Colton is a stalker gives me hope that some of the cast will take Colton to task. And I think an example of Colton being the ultimate hypocrite deflector is the way he called out Lisa in this past episode, because Colton is someone who doesn't want to be remembered for the way he acted after The Bachelor, for the way he came into reality TV as a stalking criminal, but he wants He's right about Lisa, and I get that. But his evidence for why it's Lisa is because she's not acting like Lisa from The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So he's saying Lisa should be pointed at for not being the person that Colton thought she is. Meanwhile, he will do anything to try and deflect from the fact that, he's gay now and he's not the person he was when he was a stalker on that show. The hatred for Colton continues to bubble up, and the Peacock social media posted a picture in their big hypocrisy saying, "We are committed to making our cast feel safe, respected, and supported on screen and off." First off, I call bullshit to that, because casting Colton, who was a criminal stalker on another reality show, is not exactly making your cast feel safe, in my opinion. But then they go on to say, the cast of the Traitors are real people, and what happens in the game should never lead to cyberbullying or harassment. There's a difference between discussing a show and targeting individuals. Let's not ruin the passion for this show with unwarranted negativity and personal attacks. We appreciate your support. I hate this message for several different reasons. Because Peacock in general, with the reality shows, with Love Island, with the Traitors, they like to cast people that are problematic. They like to give problematic edits. They like to give some people unfair edits where they will get plenty of hate, but then they want to get on social media and be like, you shouldn't think this way as an audience, even though we're the ones giving you the reason to think this way. We're the ones that casted a problematic individual. That's why I called the show out with that episode where they let Colton use his sexuality as a weapon to make himself a victim and to make everyone else on the cast act like they just cared so much about that issue, and let the cast be performative and let their entire show be performative when they're the ones that cast these problematic individuals in the first place. I don't like hypocrisy like this, and that's what really grinds my gears sometimes with these reality shows. Also, though, last season, Danielle was getting so much hate from the internet just for playing the game, because they didn't like the way she was playing as a traitor. They didn't like how overdramatic she was. They didn't like that she wasn't getting along with Caroline, and Caroline was the little victim. So people had to jump down Danielle's throat, and Peacock didn't post this message for Danielle, even though Danielle was getting all this hate for gameplay. But Colton getting hate for the right reasons, because he has never taken responsibility for his actions, and he continues to get cast on these TV shows. And if Colton and his PR want to go to Peacock and want to go to the Traitors show to try and get them to put out statements like this, so that maybe that will help him stop getting all of this deserved hate, maybe Colton should stop going on reality TV, though. But he doesn't. He keeps going on reality TV, and he keeps trying to deflect from his past actions. And we'll see if he gets to deflect from past actions again in this reunion. Either way, this reunion is setting up to be the only thing to watch with this show going forward, because the gameplay ain't there, that's for damn sure. And the editing sucks this season, in my opinion. So at this point, I'm just looking for the show to be over and looking forward to the reunion, because there's a lot of messiness going on. There's a lot of drama, and the show itself is trying to get itself involved now, because Peacock loves to do this, even though they are the ones that tend to cause these problematic situations in the first place.